Hey, welcome back to the A to Z podcast, starring me, Zero Rimson, and Aaron Chase. I'm Zero Rimson. I'm going to be the resident yang, the light, the positive, the super optimistic, the naive, and that'll be Aaron Chase, the yin, the dark, the reality, the um, pessimist. But
Right.
we come together somewhere in between that gray area. There's a lot of amazing stuff, and that's what we hope to do in this podcast. Today, Aaron wants to talk about the thing that's pretty much on everybody's mind. My timeline has been ridiculous with it. The Arbery situation. Not Arbery, that's his last name. Uh, uh,
It's
what's his first
Ahmed.
name? Ahmad.
Ahmad.
Ahmad. What? It's two A's. That's why it keeps tripping me up. It's
I think it's Ahmad Arbery.
Ahmaud Arbery. So for
Yeah.
those of you who don't know or aren't into social media at all or don't keep up with the news, there was a tragedy that happened. Was it this last week or like?
It happened in February. This is the video is just coming out.
Oh, this happened like a while back, and now it's become public knowledge.
hmm
Okay.
The police wouldn't release the video for a long time apparently.
Okay. So real quick catch up then. Black man, I think in his 20s. Was he? How old was he?
I don't know, but he had 8 kids, so
He had 8 kids.
he had 8 kids. Yeah. No. That was the other black guy that got shot. My bad. That was the other black guy that got shot. That was the security
Get
guard.
them mixed up.
Yeah. It happened.
Because I'm
Goddamn.
pretty sure this guy. Hold on. And
No,
I'm just gonna go ahead and Google it.
the security guard that got shot over the mask, he had 8 kids, which is
See,
crazy.
that's another one I don't know. I am one of the people that I don't follow the people that post about that constantly. And honestly, I try to put it over there. Like I understand darkness happens in the world, but I don't interact with it much like that. 25. Yeah, he was 25. So he was probably was jogging in his neighborhood one day, and while he was jogging, two white people, of a father and son duo, I believe it was a 60-year-old man and a 30-year-old man, the McMichaels. Like I remember that is one thing that stuck out. They couldn't have had more white names. It was like Travis and something else McMichaels, and I'm like, this is the most cartoony story. And they killed a
Oh
guy
yeah.
named Ahmad. I'm like, all right. So he was jogging. They saw him. Apparently, they heard on the news or something that there was some robberies or something going on, and they went looking for somebody. I guess they saw him and was like, black guy. He must have done it. So then they got in their truck, followed him down the street, and then just accosted him and shot him in broad daylight, uh, pretty much for jogging. And then now they're claiming self-defense. But if you ever watch the video, because the police just recently released the video, it was very clearly an attack. And if anybody was self-defending, it was Aubrey. So, it is what it is. But you got perspective on this?
I'm fucking furious.
Yeah?
I'm so mad. Like it really fucked my day up seeing that video. I saw it in the morning. That's never good. That's like when you brush your teeth and then drink orange juice right afterwards. Just
Yeah.
your day.
Bad combination.
Yeah. No, I'm fucking furious. And it makes me mad because like it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. Like I know that what's gonna happen is it's gonna get posted up on MSNBC and CNN. They're gonna have the clear liberal perspective, and then it's gonna be posted on Fox. And somehow they're gonna find a way to twist it and be well. He clinched at him, really aggressive when they were coming at the shotgun. He clinched up, and it was clearly a move of aggression. And it's like how. I really at this point I don't know what to say to those types of people. I don't say anything to them, especially right now, but like what do you say to somebody who no matter what, no matter how much evidence, no matter how much you follow the law, like that's another thing I would hear all the time. Sorry, no, I'm ranting, but
It wouldn't be this podcast if we didn't rant.
This is true. But I'm sure you've seen that meme, the meme where a black dude's dealing with a cop and it's like, just follow authority. And then a Mexican's dealing with a cop, just follow authority. And then it's like white people who are protesting about the quarantine. And it's like, well, follow authority except for this time.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah, I haven't seen that meme, but they're classic meme.
oh yeah. It's one of those things where it's like okay. You know what these white people are like? Let me tell you, Zero.
Okay,
These type
teach me about white people.
these particular type of white people.
Okay, okay.
They're the type of white people. You remember being a kid in elementary school and you're playing pretend, you're playing superheroes, and everyone's got powers. And then there's that one fucking kid who's like, I have all the powers.
Yeah, all the powers. Yeah. All the powers, kid. Everybody has all the powers, kid.
That's what those type of white people. Obviously, there's plenty of, when you play that game, all the kids are playing within the realms of the reality of the game. There's always one fucking person.
Yeah.
And those one type of people that just, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say to them.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that. Now, to be fair, I haven't. Now, again, this is where my naive reality hits your reality, where, which just in me saying that sentence alone, but it's like, well, mine's is a fantasy world that, like, I believe in, and yours is like real life. I don't like to think about real life, but in to me, it's like I don't think they can be reached the way that people historically have been trying to reach them. I think that like it hasn't been working the way we've been doing it so far. I don't think those people are without being talked into, because I feel like it's just a matter of like, okay, so let's say if you had to run into that type of person, and you have run into that type of person, whether it be online or in real life, because again, we've gone down this rabbit hole of like, again, to me, as I get older, the more I realize like things that people are or think that they are, or values that they hold, or ideas or beliefs are a lot like yeah, you've built a lot of who you are around core things, and some people don't even know what those core things are until you start pushing on them. And so for me, it's like I always find myself asking, whenever I see somebody doing a crazy thing or something I don't relate to, I always ask myself, and especially when they stop seeing the world for what it is, it's like, what would it mean if that person had to accept that? Like, what would it mean for them as a person? What else comes with accepting that simple thing that seems simple? Now, to be fair, I also have to run this test by myself, because obviously I have a naive personality. That's where I go. I go to positive. I go to believing the world can be a magical place where we're all happy and get along. That's where I like to believe. But like at the same time, I see in myself, what would I be if I had to accept a reality where that's not possible? Where like humans do have like, there is a certain like human that's like, you can't reach them. Like you can't reach them. They can't be helped. There's nothing you can do. And I can admit that for me, that would make me a little bit like, oh, that sucks. Like, because that just means like there is no answer to the problem. Like if there's the only answer to a problem of somebody you can't reach is like, well, then I guess we have to kill that person or separate ourselves so far from that person, which is where I think Black people start to get to when it comes to these type issues, and white people, and especially those, again, we use the catch-all term white people because again, we all do have white friends or white people who are chill in the most part, but then we have the hard-headed ones, and the only way to describe them is by using certain catch-all terms like racist or like white supremacist or like all
What
the
to do? Just for the sake of this conversation and to make it clear for whoever's listening, when we say those types of white, when I'm complaining about the white girl on the bike, I'm talking about Karens. And when we're talking about these types of guys, I don't know what names that they would have.
right.
Travis.
And nobody's given them a name, and we could call them Travis for the sake of like explaining, and like it fits with the story. So like I we and again, it's like you know who we're talking about. Like you know who we're talking about. It's like you've run into the person that no matter how you come at them with this, they don't want to give it to you that this was a tragic thing that happened. At the very least, it was tragic and it shouldn't have happened. Then
My
there's like, this wasn't like the world where like this wasn't avoidable. Like there wasn't a thing that those two white guys could have done differently to not have killed this guy. And it's like, well, sorry, go
my
ahead.
my frustration with it all. So like, I know what you're saying about it messy. Okay, let's say you're homophobic and you don't support gay marriage.
Right.
Okay. First off, I think that's very silly and it's strange to me, but I can do the same thing you're doing of get into that person's perspective. Maybe they were raised a particular way. Maybe the belief system is they think it's wrong. They think it's gross. Maybe never met a gay person that they like. Whatever. Fair enough. I don't support you. I think your thought process is flawed and wrong and morally not okay. But I can get in your head there. That I see some semblance of human logic there. When it comes to these shootings, I cannot rationalize it in my head. Like the Trayvon, like over and over, these guys are unarmed. They don't have guns, or
Right.
even if they, or Philando, even if they do, they're still following the laws. And these Travises and Karens are out there shooting from the hip, thinking this is the old West.
Yeah.
And I think they got arrested. I think they did, but they wouldn't have if that video wasn't out there.
Yeah.
And that guy used to be a cop for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
God knows the horrific things he's done.
Yeah.
So my thing is like, not only can they not be reached, but I can't even figure out how to empathize with the logic because there is none. It is without, you know.
Okay, and that's where I would make hard argument. So this is where we get into like just gonna point out the theme of the show, you guys. So I also read a little bit more about yin and yang, the whole symbol in and of itself, and it's very on the nose. I didn't realize how on the nose it is, you and me, because because like the yang is like all white, and then it has the black dot, which the black dot is the yin inside of the yang, and then there's yin that's like all black, and it has the white dot, and that's the yang inside of the yin. So this is one of those moments where you're so this is one of those moments where while you come from a realistic point of view, and like it does steep in anger and a little bit of negativity, just coming by to say hello. We appreciate you, Harrison. You're the realest one who's been here every episode, you guys. If you don't know, Harrison has become one of the staples of this show. You guys don't see him because he's in the chat, but he's here for almost everyone just to at least pop in. But like in this specific scenario, while you come from a negative, angry place, there's a light in there where it's like, I'm empathizing. Like I'm trying to understand that level of darkness, that it's so crazy, and I have a level of like darkness inside of mine because I can very easily, to me, justify what happened. Hey, Keenan's here. So I can easily I can justify it from their perspective. I don't agree with it, but I can see where they get it.
Context, we're talking about the guy, we're talking about the shooting.
The only thing that black people can talk about right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah. You go.
My thing is like, this is just kind of why I'm fed up. Is I should not have to explain to a grown adult, a person. Let's even add another layer to this. This was a trained police officer, which means he knows the laws. He has been trained to uphold the peace.
Okay.
And he went die hard. He went off the reservation. Okay. They got this is stereotypical. They got in a white pickup truck.
Oh yeah, it's cartoony. It's cartoony. If the more details you look at this story, the more it's like on the nose. Like sometimes you'll see a thing like this is the equivalent of like, I don't know, like if you saw a news story that was like a guy named Jose was found jumping over the Mexican border. It's like that little man. This story is on the nose, It's
Yeah.
just like a white man was found killing a black guy, and he used to be a police officer. Like that's
I have he came out of retirement. I have
wait, he was retired, and then he came out of retirement, and he did
that
this
was his
while he was
moment.
out of retirement.
It's like when you're
Oh,
in like
you're doing a bit. See, I don't know enough about the story for bits. Like every part of this story is so cartoony. I'll pretty much believe whatever you tell me about it.
the bit was essentially like he the cop movies, just one last time. And he
Oh no.
you get results. But
Yeah.
anyway, okay.
Okay.
Here's your Yang, right?
I'm Yang.
Okay. Here's a little bit. Here's where my dot of Yang comes in.
Okay.
So I watch that and I'm furious. I'm angry.
Okay.
And I go out into the world and I have to do things. I have my mask on and I'm hyper aware of how white people are treating me at that moment because all the stuff. And the yin of me is still angry and frustrated. And
Right.
I'm fed up, I'm tired, I just want to be left alone.
Which is
You know,
valid.
but the tiny bit of yin in me is like, okay, well, these people who are giving me dirty looks are not nearly at the level as somebody who murders somebody with a shotgun.
Right.
Different. And I recognize that. So I try to keep that in mind when I'm out there frustrated.
Mhm.
So that's my little bit of yang within my yin.
Right.
But most of my yin is like, can you guys get it together? White people, you have everything. You're good. Can you fucking
Right.
get it together?
Right. And my overarching yang is like, yeah, it's tragic. I do feel for the families, and it's a horrible thing, and I wish it didn't happen, and I feel
Like
for
it.
everybody. Like it's just for me. I'll talk about my thing about this because this is my heart. You know how like in a couple episodes back with you and the bike girl, this is one of my hard things to explain because
Ooh,
it's so controversial.
oh my
But we'll get to it. So my overall yang is like, I get it. I hear you. It's too many. It's way too many. Absolutely. There is no real excuse that this is okay. My inner darkness yin though is like, but like, has the world ever been fair or good? Or like I'm not saying we can't get there and we're not making strides or to give up, but like, yeah, what number is this? Like 4,000, 40,000,000 thousand hundredth story of the. It's like It's not that that number isn't egregious, and it's not that I don't care. It's like, okay, so here's what I'm learning. Two things every time I see this story. My two things are one, whatever we're doing right now ain't working. It got us here. It got us here. It's like Apple. They had Steve Jobs, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X together. Steve Jobs did. They created iPhones. Oh, revolutionized the game. Created iPads. Oh, revolutionized the game. Like switching it up. We had great leaders that led us to great achievements and got schools desegregated. We could hang out together. I have white friends. You have white friends. We like white people, and some of them like us. That was before. Then Steve Jobs dies. Apple has not come out with a cool, sick product since. I feel like people are trying to pretend like earpods are cool. Like wireless headphones have been a thing for a long time, and I still feel like AirPods are like the most like wait, it's gonna get lost item ever. But like, okay, fine, okay, that's where I feel like we are with the movement of black people and white people. We've made a lot of progress back when those two and everybody was like civil rights hard big movements. Now we're making like kind of little steps that are cool too. Like we
yeah.
got a lot of people doing stuff for the first time. Like a lot of people are moving it. We had the first black president. We had a lot of different little things, but then like the big leaps, that like the things that are like need more to happen. I just feel like we haven't had the thing. We haven't had the thing, but I don't think the way is the way that everybody keeps suggesting. Because I see everybody's on my same page, and they're like, "Okay, you're right. We need to do something different." But like, talking doesn't work anymore. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm like, easy. Like people go so quickly to like revolution because yes, it is death, and I get it. Like eye for an eye sounds pretty good right now, but like it's not the
I have
answer.
the solution.
Huh?
I have the solution. I know how to fix it.
I also think I know how to fix it. Okay, guys, ready for two comedians in their 20s thinking they could solve the world's problem. What's your
I am also
solution here?
30. I'm 29. I am damn near an adult.
Okay. All right, 30-year-old and a late 20-year-old think they
All
can
right.
solve the world problem. But they're
Two
focusing
things.
on jokes, you guys. They decided to use their powers for funnies. Go ahead.
Two things. First thing is my solution, and the second thing is a question for you, and I don't want to forget it. So the question is, if something like what had happened to me or other Black people had happened to you, do you think your perspective would be different? But to solve this, the solution is the justice system needs to make a fucking example of these people because this they these types of people feel untouchable, and that's why they do the things that they do. So
Right.
to take race out of it, Cosby, all of those famous people, they felt untouchable,
Hmm.
and now shit's hitting the fan. They're like, I guess I'm not untouchable. I should probably stop.
Yeah.
So I think that these people feel like nothing's going to happen to me. I've been doing this. We've all been doing this for forever. This is just what it is. So
Right.
until they are made a fucking example of, until like you lock them up and you show like there's going to be consequence for these crazy decisions, it
Right.
will not. And that's
Right.
my solution.
Okay. Then your solution is essentially it's one I didn't realize until you said that solution that I technically have two solutions. But
Ooh,
like
okay.
one of them is pretty much what you said, except it's more it's more again, and this is where I get controversial. So this is my thing is mine's is it does need to change, but if you want it to change for real, it's either again now see this is how you're gonna see how my brain works because as I came up with my first thing, it split into two things. Now I'm over here and that split into two things. So like
Okay.
so I'm gonna go down this way and then I'm gonna quickly snap back up because I could see this branching into a whole thing. So my solution one is yes, the police system needs to change. These people need to be punished. It's really not to the common man. It seems like such a simple solution. Hey, person kills person, they go to jail for that. That's just it. It doesn't even if you want to claim like I don't know. In that scenario, I just feel like self defense doesn't even fall in. But
No,
like, it's like all your arguments don't really line up for that, and so like that person goes to jail. It will not, yeah, de-incentivize the people that at least if they're gonna kill, they got to go through the trouble of a regular murderer and hiding the body and like
yeah,
trying to get away with it. Not like that happened back home. It's like that
yeah.
thing. Like yeah, that person recorded it and it's fine. I'm sure that'll be fine. So yeah, one is like yes, we can have more civil conversations with the chief of police and the people in power who are having their employees and all the stuff and say, hey, those kids need to go on time. Those kids need to be punished. And I'm not talking about leave, like they need to be put in jail or at the very, very least, relieved of duty. You don't get to carry a gun anymore. You don't get to be a policeman because you lost that privilege. Even if it was, and here's the joke that I had that I put on stage and I haven't used since, but like I still think it's a good joke. Essentially, the idea is like if I go to my job and I mess up because here's the argument they also like to make. It happened like it was just in the heat of the moment. You get wrapped up in it. It was an accident. I didn't mean to kill them. It was lapse of judgment on my part. And yeah, it happened. But like I didn't do it on purpose. It wasn't like a murder. And I'm like, here's the thing. If I go to my job and I oopsie doopsie mess up something by accident, they have the right to fire me because I
Right.
did my job wrong. I messed up my job. If I go to my job and I mess up so badly that somebody dies, they have to fire me. I
Yeah.
don't get to be that anymore. I'm done. And I will never be that anywhere else. I won't like then go from my janitor job where I killed somebody to some other hotel be like, I was a janitor, but they fired me for the murder thing. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, you're fine. Come along. Like, they're not going to do that. They're like, I don't get to be a janitor anymore. So at the very least, that person should not be able to be a cop anymore.
Yeah.
Not to mention, again, actual repercussions of murderer, but like that whole thing. So that's where I follow you. And so we can either talk to those people, fully convince those people who have that power to come down, or controversial, other branch, we have to become that. So like,
You want to kill white people?
no.
Okay.
We have to become the hey, look at Stro. I like that he's acting like he's not in the living room. Neither here nor there. I don't want you to come in here. We're doing the podcast.
I've never met Dro.
Oh yeah, you haven't like met Dro.
We've made a whole album together, and I've never met him. It's so weird.
Internet, man.
Yeah.
But like, also a lot of that is how some albums are made too. It's like a lot of like even big name people like they're featured on each other's stuff, but they never meet. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anywho, money transactions. Just into a video how to upload a file to Drive.
I won't be able to do it, but okay.
So what I'm saying is we need to get more Black people into the cop system. We need to incentivize more Black people to become chief of police. So that, like, if you want to make change, I think there's like two ways to do it, and that's what my branch is saying. Either A, you convince the people who already have the power to change, or you become the change. And I think that's a controversial thing because I'm literally telling you, give up on your dream to do that.
My mom's calling me. Give me a second.
Aw, his mom's calling him. Okay. Yeah, you don't do that. Yeah. So now that it's just you and me, but now that's the thing. This is live streamed, but then later we export it and put it on YouTube. And the problem is that the problem is that like nobody can see the chat. So it looks like I'm just talking to myself right now. But Dro is in the chat saying things to me like he said he would never come into my room. And it's like, oh yeah, you never do that. Oh, Aaron's back. Thanks for sticking with us. I appreciate those of you that are viewing this on YouTube later. Hey, he's back.
She could have texted me that. Anyway, okay. Your statement about putting Black people in the police department. So I have my branches in support and negative as well.
Okay.
Support, I get the logic and the philosophy. There's not much else to say. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
The negative.
I'm positive there's not much. I got much
the negative. The negative is how the system works as a whole. So I think yes, if more you would have this level of empathy from certain police officers, but at the same time, you're still having what the system is. You're still having the white man run you. No. But I understand what you're saying, but I still think that there's something to be said about pressure going down. Like, I don't know how to put it. Regardless, doesn't matter anymore. I wanted to know.
I get what you're saying. You're saying there's a trickle down that even the chief of police or even like there's always someone above him. And as long as that person above him is still a white person, the pressure from that white person will keep them from changing the system.
Yeah. But regardless, I understand the point that you're making, but I want to pivot to the idea I think is far more interesting, and that is if something had happened to you when you were younger, or even right now, if something were to happen to you that is really extreme, would put you in a level of actual danger for your life, you think your perspective would change on it?
Absolutely. And I think that's why I empathize with, as much as this is going to sound wacky, that's why I empathize with the white people. Like, I empathize with them because I haven't gone through that. And like trying to understand, like I look at these stories, and that's why, again, the controversial is like, for me, I feel like I look at it with as close as an in-between as we can get. Like I am in the demographic. Absolutely, I'm in the demographic of the people who are being killed by policemen. I'm a black young man in his 20s. That's like dot for dot, every single one. Now I do have the thing that like I don't look super threatening. Like I do
Yeah,
have that on my side. The Donald Glover energy gets me out of a lot of trouble. I can
yeah,
admit to my privilege in that way. But like in general, I still fall under black guy. At the
yes.
same time, I've had the privilege of living a really nice life where I didn't have, yeah, the traumas happen to me. I didn't have all that stuff. So I don't have the, the
Visceral,
yeah, I don't have the experience. And I
right.
think that's what white people are missing. What white people are missing is
So
that they, huh?
we got to kill them.
We don't have to kill them, but I get where that's an answer. Like I'm not saying like to me it's like that in a darker world, if we're talking like, I do not agree with this, I don't think this is what it should be. Don't anybody do this. Don't listen to me and take this as a thing to do. I can't
Okay.
emphasize enough how much this isn't my fault. but,
Okay.
but like one way to get that empathy is to cause that empathy. Now, to be fair, they're gonna flip that story and turn it into, well, black people were always this violent. Black people were always gonna like look at what happens. Like, look, they're an angry people. They kill people innocently, and it won't be about the cop thing. It'll just be like you murdered a guy, like because it'll just be a murder. So like it's a very hard point to make, but like it is literally like, hey, how do you get somebody to empathize with your situation if words won't work? Have them experience a similar situation. Like that's
And
the
you know,
that's the root cause. And so for me, that's where I answer your question. I'm saying, yes, if I had that happen to me, I would understand. I don't think white people have had that happen to them. They can't. They haven't. Or I think the very few that have don't talk about it. Or if they try to, they get silent because they're such a minority that no black person wants to hear that. Like
right.
I am absolutely sure that just by sheer like freaking metrics of oopsie doopsies, some cop at some point had to kill a white person at some point.
Yeah,
It's nowhere near the number of black people, but they had to have done it, and they had to have like gone, well, sorry, whoopsie doopsie. I'm a cop.
yeah.
What do you want? And then somebody was like, but you killed my family. But nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that because it's such a tiny, minute person. But I think it's important. Sorry, go
I,
ahead.
I want to take it out of the cops and just look at it as the idea of it as a whole. So
Okay.
like, okay, so like this quarantine, people are unable to work, right?
People are what?
People are unable to work.
Yes.
Okay. So before this quarantine, um, the people protesting in Michigan with their "I need to get a haircut" signs, all their bullshit.
Yeah.
Before this quarantine, if they had talked to somebody who was on unemployment or welfare, they would say that they were lazy. They needed to pull themselves up out of their bootstraps. Why can't they get it together? We've gotten it together. And now that they're experiencing it, they're feeling like, oh shit, I want to work and I can't earn money, and this does not feel good. They're not looking at it as, oh wow, this is how those people felt. Now it's just about me, me, me. I need to get a haircut. I want to go to the movies, and it. I feel like we've hit a point where the older generation of Karens just needs to die off. Like they're not gonna change, and the younger people, the younger white people, are the ones that have to carry that torch and make it better. This is where I'm at.
And I feel I go back and forth.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm like, you're an old person. Like I know my own grandfather. I'm not trying to teach him about. He clearly has some stuff with masculinity, and that's
Yeah.
very clear. But like, I don't. I'm not trying to teach him new things. Like I'm not trying to make him see the intricacies of the sexual spectrum, especially when I identify as a straight man. Like, what is the point even? And especially when, yeah, you are in the twilight years of your life. What does it even do you to be woke at this point? But I
Yeah.
don't. I don't also give up on him. Like if he's gonna say, I'm not gonna not say my thing, but at the same time, I just like, yeah, he is what he is. So sometimes I'm like, yeah, let it go. Other times I'm like, I feel like they deserve a chance just like everybody else deserves a chance. And
I
honestly, at the end of the day, to me, people are people. And at the very least, if the group consensus changes, then even if they want to be the solitary old person, well, now it's like, all right, like you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's like, grandpa. Like,
I I think it really is coming down to experience then because we understand philosophically, like everything that you're saying, your fucking coon belief system, your Samuel L. Jackson from Django thought process. No,
oh,
but like
for the term Uncle Tom.
the Uncle Tom, right? That's less offensive. No, but I get your philosophy. I think it makes sense, and it is very reasonable, and it's very Yang of you, right? Yang,
Yep, Yang.
we're getting it,
We're gonna
but
figure it out one of these days.
yeah, but I think that you and I never wish this upon you because it's terrifying and it's not fun. But I think you would have to experience a life and death scenario with a racist person
Mm,
to like I know that when you watch those videos, the Lando video and the and Ahmad video for you, obviously it's terrifying, it's awful.
oh yeah, no, it's scary.
For me, and I've never been shot. I don't believe I've ever had a gun pulled on me to my knowledge. Maybe someone tried to snipe at me one day and they missed.
Right,
But I've never had that happen. But I've had the violence happen and the life or death feeling happen.
right,
So seeing that for me is super. It like sucked me into all of the times when I was in danger, and I
right,
was just. It's like you become. There's this primal instinct. Like when this all the quarantine first started, society started to like shake for a second. You felt people being like,
right,
fuck you, I need to protect my family. Like this
right,
has nothing to do with any of you now. This is my family and me. And
right,
that's what I feel when I see those videos. It's like, all right, I don't care about these people's backstory. I don't care about what they've experienced. I don't care about their ignorance. I just want to be alive. And
right,
I'll do anything I can to make you not kill me. That
right.
Georgia video was crazy, dude. Yeah, man, that's what we're.
Yeah, and I'm of the team of like I don't like yes that you're perfectly valid to feel that way and that's exactly how you should feel and I agree I would not feel differently if I
Yeah,
had those traumatic experiences put on me. But at the same time I go that's not good for growth. Like is it good to be in a manic state? Like is it good to like when the earth starts going wrong that everyone clicks into panic mode? It's what we do. It's fine and it's human but it's not good for progress. It's not
I
good for moving forward because you do make it like now exactly what you were saying after you watch that video. Now every white person is an enemy and you're on high alert and it's like animalistic and it's like I can't like I don't feel safe with the way you're looking at me now because I saw that thing and I've seen what you're capable of. And that's
yeah,
and that's the same fear. It's the same. It's all the same. The reason they did that was some otherworldly fear of this thing. Like he did it to him because he thought he like whatever movie played in his head that was like
yeah.
that dude just hurt me or hurt my family and will continue to hurt me and people like him have hurt me. Again, it's the other side of the cop argument, which I completely understand, which is like if you're a cop how often are you like you are dealing with white crime, but the white crime level, like
Right.
where you're dealing with white crime and what happens in that realm is totally different than what's happening in low income neighborhoods. And just by like the demographic of the low income neighborhood, you start to form attachments. You start to like connect dots that like don't aren't
Today we're
really
talking
there.
about shooting in Georgia. Just for context, we're talking about the shooting in Georgia. So you're saying?
Yeah, it's like you start connecting dots that like are kind of there. Like you can't say that there isn't more violence in low income neighborhoods. You can't say that.
Yes, I
But at
agree.
the same time, you can't say, "Oh, black people are violent." It's like like that. Like those two things don't just correlate like that. It's just
Yeah,
like again, this is where I come into my argument from way a couple podcasts ago. It's like I feel like it's deeper. It's like there are income issues. There are like social status issues. When your back is against the wall and you don't know where food's coming from, yeah, you might rob somebody. You might do some stuff. When you're in panic animal mode, all the time, you might do some stuff. Like, and that's different. So if you're a cop and you've only experienced a type of person one way and one after another, it's never, nobody's calling the police to say, hey, just wanted you to come by so I could give you some cookies in the low income neighborhood. Just wanted to say hi.
That'd be,
Literally, our
that'd be a great
policy
rap.
is don't talk to police. Like there's no, we don't help them. They don't help us. And it's only causing this vicious cycle. And even when we try, and I get it, it's hard. I know. Zero, did you do something new with your hair? It's grown out. But even, even I get it. Like, I get where that's hard. I know it's hard. But to me, it's like, it's taking, like, group crazy. Like, there's a group of crazies, and you're trying to convince them to not be crazy. And that's like it's really difficult. Like that's difficult. Like, have you ever run into a group of black nationalists who like hate white people? Like they hate white people. Like they do believe we should kill them all. They want to
Not
wipe
the
them
joking
off the
version of
face.
what made, yeah. They
Huh?
would like run that girl on the bike over. I get you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you go to them as a black man and you try to convince them that that white people are cool. You try to convince them that white people are okay. You won't do it. I'm saying that we're mostly the same. Their situation in the same way that you would say that I'm me because I haven't had the trauma. They haven't had the trauma. They
Right.
haven't had the trauma. They haven't had that. So it's like we can't reach them like us. We have to reach them like them. And the way that
So
we reach them like them is different. And it's like there's layers. Sorry, go ahead.
no, no, it's okay. I would say that they have okay. Obviously, it's different because you're black, so you understand it more, even though you
I
didn't
don't.
go.
I don't. I don't. Like and that's why I think like it's controversial. That's why I don't think that like when I express these opinions, I don't think most people, especially California black people, they will not like it. They will not like it because my perspective is like you shouldn't feel that way as a black man. You understand you're in the demographic. It's like, yeah, I understand I'm in have those I don't have those connections. Every time I've dealt with a cop, they've been pretty cool, actually. They've been really chill with me. That's not my experience. And I
How
can understand it. I can understand it. I see those videos and I think it's horrible. What opinions do you feel are particularly controversial? I mean, that's what I'm expressing. Literally, the idea that as a black man, my experience with police is not what every black man has experienced. My experience with police, they're pretty chill. They're pretty nice. They're looking out for me. But every time I see these videos, I can't deny it keeps happening to people. It keeps happening to people. And I agree. It's horrible. And it's like one to one. I can't deny it. It's clearly racially charged. It's clearly got things because it should be as simple as, hey, that person killed this person. Clearly they did it. We have it on video. They should be in trouble. The fact that this person isn't in trouble shows you something's wrong. I can see that. I understand it, but I don't like connect to it, man. I don't connect to it.
my issue is so right now when I tell you like my experiences, this is why I get cagey, this is why I get frustrated. You
Hmm.
can at least say I understand and your feelings are valid.
Yeah.
Whereas when I talk,
Whoa,
when I
whoa,
try,
whoa.
or when I used to, I'm going to say used to because I just don't do it anymore. I don't have the energy for it. And we're back.
Yeah.
Context, we're talking about the Georgia shooting. I'm expressing my feelings that are very angry, Black Power, and Zero is being Martin Luther King / Gandhi right now.
The fact that
Um,
James had to pass before charges were brought was very telling. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
like clearly there's stuff wrong. I cannot deny, just like white people in this, it's like you can't deny something's going up, but you can
but
also
they
understand why it is. Sorry, go ahead.
but they do deny it, and that's what annoys me.
Right,
I don't even want like all I ask for is acknowledgement and an apology.
right,
If that's it, like
right.
if
But
if
I'm a,
I
but like this is the thing. I'm a weird breed. Like, like for me, I can empathize to the level I can empathize because I'm still a black man. They don't even have that in their corner. They don't have that. And the people who you're saying are villains look and act like them. Imagine you're an innocent white and you have a dad who's a cop.
I'm listening.
What?
I'm listening.
Yeah. It's
I
like
think
if you have a dad that's a cop, and then one day daddy went out and killed a black person. Are you like, uh-oh, my dad's a racist? Or do you go, that must have been an accident? My father, when I love my dad, he loved me and he showed me throughout his whole life that he was cool with black people. Like acknowledgement is key. Just acknowledgement that this is not an act of protecting our neighborhood.
so. Zero, when what you're saying about the dad's a cop thing, right?
Right.
I agree until
Okay.
there is physical evidence of your dad being a piece of shit. At some point, you have to say to yourself, "Oh, my dad murdered somebody. I saw that."
But do you though? Because that's the thing. Who who do you love the most in this world? Who is your like, no matter what, your ride or die person? Family or friend, whatever you want to go to. Do you have one? Because I
You,
have several people. Huh?
I trust you. I think that
You trust me?
yes,
Then I don't think you don't have the attachment that I'm talking about. I love my mom. If
okay.
my mom showed up to my house and was like covered in someone's blood and was like, I did something bad, we're cleaning my mom off and we're going like, I don't know what happened. We're going to try to keep you as safe as possible. And that mentality is what's going on. It's like that animal, that animal you had in you that
The
was like,
tribe.
okay, yeah, the trauma, the tribe, the like, I got to protect my thing. That's them. Like, that's
Absolutely.
them.
Okay, so with your example of your mom,
Okay.
I get that. You want to protect her. Fair enough. But once the dust settles and she admits to you, so I murdered somebody,
Mm.
you have to acknowledge your mom fucking murdered somebody, and
I,
that's my
my cousin said, nah, KK gotta go. My mom's aunt name is Aunt KK.
oh
And,
okay.
and I'm saying for people who like are really about like, because that's the thing. Everybody says that, but we still have a no snitch policy. That's what's crazy to me is
Takashi
that
69 ruined
huh?
that. Takashi 69 ruined that.
Did he? Did he though? That's a great joke that we all tell. Ha 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 ha! Isn't it so funny? And then what are you afraid of? Who here is like, I want to stand next to 6ix9ine? Why don't you do that? Is it because there's a huge underbelly of the world that we don't talk about called subtle terrorism within those groups? That's like, hey, don't talk to police or we
Yeah.
will end you. And it's
Well,
like when we don't, it's all working together. It
well,
all the pieces. Sorry,
do
go
you know
ahead.
where the no snitching policy came from?
We have 10 minutes. Huh?
Okay. Do you know where the
I
no
would never
snitching?
snitch on a woman who gave me my name. But if sis murdered someone, I have to encourage her to face the consequence. But yeah, like encouragement isn't turning her in.
Okay. When it comes to that, all I want, all I want, all I want is to be at. This is not all I want, but hypothetically,
Okay.
if I
I'm like, I hope you want more than
I
just
do want more out of life
okay.
than acknowledgement of racism. But if I was let's say I'm at a conservative bar and that video comes on the screen,
Why are you
better
at a conservative bar? Why?
because I'm crazy because I do dumb shit.
Okay.
And
What are you doing?
one could argue the no snitching policy is in response to the stuff like the crash program in the 90s. I don't know that one. What is that?
Me neither. I'll Google it. Go ahead.
Um,
We got 10 minutes, by the way, unless you want to
yeah,
stop and start at something.
while you're, I'll see if I can wrap this up with a bow. If I was sitting at a bar and I saw that video and the person next to me was trying to find some excuse, it would frustrate me. I'm not saying you have to denounce the police or the white or your white privilege, whatever you don't want. You don't have to denounce your group. Just acknowledge. Just say, "Oh, that is fucked up. That's not okay."
You walked yourself into a corner, my friend, because now you have fallen into the trap that I like to call, I will acknowledge that that person is crazy. We are not him. That's an outlier. Like that person, he's crazy.
That's
That
fine.
doesn't speak for us.
That's fine. Just fucking acknowledge it. God damn it. I don't care. Just acknowledge it.
Okay, well then the argument is still there though. Like to me that's not what it's really what you want. Because then they get
It's
to the point where it's like that's not us, but then you go, but look at all these numbers. There
no,
can't be this many crazy people.
I
It's
understand where you're going. I understand where you're going with it. For me, at this point, I'll just because I'm tired. Like I'll take zero. I'm not following what you're saying. Do you want to elaborate before I say things?
I mean, she's a little behind. I don't know which part. I mean, the long and short, uh, to me, the idea, I agree with Aaron fine. the the idea for me that like I feel like the amount of we don't understand, like everyone understands the black argument of this, like of the shooting, tragedy, horrible, shouldn't have happened, it's bad. Everybody knows that. Most people, the few people that we're trying to reach, that we're trying to convince, we haven't been able to reach them using the arguments we've been using thus far. I'm saying we need to approach them differently than the way we've been doing it. The way we've been doing it is as if they're us. They are us, but they're us without the trauma, without the acknowledgement, and they have different core things that are the same core things that we have. So, like, the same thing that makes you see a black man get killed and goes, that's like my cousin, that's like him. I care about that because that's us. I don't want that. Freak out. Let's stop that. That's horrible. That same thing is the same thing as that cop can't be a bad guy because I don't want him to be a bad guy. Like that's us.
So,
That's us.
okay. So what I'm saying is that like
Made by Christina against Google. Oh, Christians against Google. No, I didn't see the comments made by Christians against Google.
interesting.
I didn't even know that was a group.
My thing is
Sorry, we have 7 minutes. I'll let you. I'm gonna shut up and just let you do the thing.
my thing is to just fucking like before the video cameras were out, before Rodney King, pre-Rodney King, it was like that's not a thing. The cops don't. That's not a thing. And then Rodney King came out, and black people were like, "See," and then white people were like, "But that's just one. That's just one." And then the phones came out, and then there was one after another, and it didn't matter to them, and it still doesn't seem to matter. My thing is I'll use Trayvon Martin as an example.
Okay.
Take race out of it. A grown, armed man went up to approach a kid, was told by the police not to do it beforehand because he called the cops earlier. He approaches this child, and whatever, I don't give a fuck what Trayvon said to him. You don't murder somebody on the street. You don't do it, race regardless. My thing is this. They said these two God-fearing men deserve justice. They were protecting their neighborhood based on the numerous. Oh, fuck that. Sorry, no offense, Slim.
You're fine. She's just reiterating. She's on your side.
Okay. Thank you, Slim. But my thing is like you just the bare minimum. I'm not even asking you to denounce anything. I'm just saying, can you just acknowledge that that's fuck up? That's really not okay. And I'm flabbergasted. That's the word I can use. I'm flabbergasted that like they cannot get past their own tribe. Like if a black person fucks up, if someone in Black Lives Matter out of nowhere kills a cop out of vengeance, and a white person were to say, Blue Lives Matter were to say, that's not okay, I would say, I agree, that is not okay, and leave it at that. There's no buts I need to add. I would say that's not okay.
Right.
The end. But you can't talk to these people.
I see what's happening. So you're comparing yourself to the person in the crazy bubble.
Zero, I'm perfect.
To me, huh?
I just fucking around. Go ahead. What is that?
I can't even hear it. To me, the person in the crazy bubble you're not his equal. I know this is gonna be a weird thing to say, but like somebody who genuinely like what she just said about the God-fearing men, or like that they're in need of justice, or like that thing. They were just protecting their neighborhood from break-ins by doing that outrageous thing. Those kind of people, again, you got to go way deeper, because you're not that person. Yeah, and that's why you're having a hard time. You're trying to convince them, but I'm making the argument that like that same energy is not your energy. That same energy is, again, like I said, the black nationalists who would also be up against that person and would say, but like the person who would be talking about the Blue Lives Matter gets killed by a person is like, that doesn't matter. The person that would say, but that person is who I'm talking about. I'm saying they have a counterpart. There are counterparts. And if you want to get at that person, then you got to look at it how you would get at a black person who doesn't believe. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
how would you try to logic your thing? Do you think with a black person who you're trying to convince that white people aren't the devil, that like you could convince them and that they would say, I understand? Because I don't think they would.
Right. And those people get on my nerves too. I
Exactly.
don't understand.
So we're on the same side. Because I
Are
still,
we?
no, well, I guess to me, I still believe you can get those people. I just think you're coming at them wrong.
The dude should have known as a retired police officer at most follow and observe the dude. Yeah, this is Georgia or wherever the fuck. Going back to work. Bye,
Love you
Slim.
too, Shay.
I'm sure we're almost out of time, probably, but
We got 2 minutes.
for two.
We have two. Less than
Basically,
two now.
basically, I know what you're saying. My issue is crazy people as a whole. However, crazy people that are white have more power, and that's why it's especially frustrating. When there's crazy black people, they're fighting uphill anyway. And when you're a crazy white person, you're already on the top of the hill, and you're being crazy, and you're throwing rocks down the hill, and you're hurting everybody. You guys they need to fucking acknowledge it. It's just frustrating. That's it. I guess.
That's fair. I can acknowledge where it is frustrating. I think the frustration is more than valid. More than valid. There's so much physical evidence that at this point it is the like, yeah, another drop in the pan, and that's a ridiculous thing to say about human life. And
Yeah.
so, it's one of those things where, yeah, there clearly has to be some sort of change. Okay.
I think a good way to end this would be finding not the answer, but finding where that wording, that middle ground. Because I know we understand each other, but for the people who are normal, we need to put it into words, I think.
Okay.
So, how would you put this into words? And Leon.
Putting everything that we said into words. Essentially, the long and short of it, I think we could sum it up as the Georgia thing re-sparked up an issue that's been an issue for a long time in the black community and with people in general, between black people and the police, where innocent black men are killed by policemen. In that discussion, we think there are several solutions, but at least one of the solutions is changing the powers that be, changing the police situation, whether that be by more black people getting involved in being a part of that system, or changing the minds of those at the top. We believe that those at the top have crazy mentalities that are not good for the system, and I believe that you can talk to those people. We just have to talk to them in a different way than we have been so far. I understand Aaron's saying there is a frustration there with trying to talk to that person and they not understanding it on a basic human level, that they don't want to hear, no matter how much evidence, no matter how much you simplify it, that they don't want to take any version of, oh, this was a tragedy. This was a tragic thing that happened. And it doesn't matter how many times it happens over and over again. But yeah, did I miss anything?
No, I think that about sums it up.
Yeah. So
Well,
it's a situation that I don't know. It's very interesting in that way, that like I feel like it's one of those things that individually I think we all pretty much understand the answer and we know what needs to be done. But there's a kind of a, and this is just my opinion. And again, this is where it gets controversial. And Aaron he's gonna give his 2 cents on this whole thing, but like I will completely absolve him of any being attached to the statement I'm about to say. For me, I feel like a lot of that comes down to we don't want to try that hard. We want to go as far as like we want to do the equivalent. This is a metaphor, but like we want to do the equivalent of shouting at somebody else to fix it for us. Like, hey, you're in power, you change. But like, we're not gonna get that person kicked out because we could, with the power of everybody coming together and being like, hey, that person's got to get out of office because nobody's trying to discharge the people who are in power over the police and allowing this to continue happening. And like you said, until punishment is doled out, then it's going to keep happening. And the problem is the punishment bracket is only going to like this part of the ceiling when it needs to be getting to this part of the ceiling. And if we all came together, eventually the overwhelming mass, no matter how big the crazy bubble is, the crazy bubble has now. We're lucky enough that we live in the age that the crazy bubble isn't as large as it used to be. It's poppable now. So I do think we can get in there, and I do think we can change it. But that's just me, again, positive. I know I'm not sacrificing my dream to do it, quite frankly. And I've seen a lot of people who are also not sacrificing their dreams to do it. And that's my main thing.
Okay, I'm going to say what Leon just said, then I'll say my feelings. Leon said, to me, one of the strangest things, hold on. To me, one of the strangest things is from what I've seen, a majority of the people defending the dudes who shot Ahmaud are unable to place themselves in the shoes of Ahmaud. I agree. Okay. So my feelings of it are that I'm tired of trying to explain, and that the way I'm going to do my change, if you will, is to just talk about the shit on stage. Like,
I mean, I'm not saying there isn't a power to words or there isn't a power to ideas and spreading them and getting them around. I just am. I'm more words are an action to a certain extent, and that's exactly what I also plan to do. As far as my contribution to it all is like, I'm not gonna not say anything. I'm not gonna do it probably as much as people who have had the experience, just because I don't have the experience. For me to speak on it is even like kind of disingenuous.
It's so fucked up because part of me wants you to have an experience, and the other part of me is like, I don't want you to have an experience.
Right.
How do you think?
That's the thing. If I got an experience, all it would do, I could tell you exactly. All it would do would be to make me angry like everyone else.
Perfect.
And then I just be another one. And then I just be another one. I feel like I can help more as I am than I could if I became another in the pile. Like, because we have how many of the Black Americans in the United States right now are upset about this?
Probably a lot.
So like, what is the one more? What is mine? Zero express himself. No, it's just been. Oh, hold on. Somebody said I miss Leon. He said your exhaustion with this issue is completely understandable and valid.
Oh, thanks, Leon.
Validation.
Yeah, I just, and I think because of the area I live in, like everywhere I go, I can't feel comfortable anywhere. Like everywhere I go, I went to Camping World because I'm trying to figure out my RV.
World?
Yeah.
That's adorable.
I went to Camping World with a little notebook. I was like, okay, I called them beforehand. I was like, can I come in and just ask you guys questions? I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life. And I go in, so goddamn rude and mean to me. Like, I walked in and they looked disgusted with me. I go up to the guy at customer fucking service with a little notepad and I'm like, hey man, I don't know anything about RVs. I'm trying to get into it. Do you mind if I ask you questions? And he just, well, what are your questions? You know, like how solar panels work and what the type of, well, I don't know. What do you want to know? And it's like, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Just the aggression constantly. Or
Mm-mm.
when I walked in, there was this lady. I went over to this lady and I was like, "Hey, excuse me, I'm looking for help. I don't know anything about solar panels." And she just was so fucking rude. And I can tell at this point. And people would say like, "Well, how do you know it's racially motivated?" And it's like, I know because I've been dealing with my whole fucking life. Like, I can tell the difference between someone who's in a bad mood and someone who's giving me the side eye because of the way I look. And so I'm tired. I just want to be able to go to the grocery store and not have an issue. Go to Camping Road and not
Yeah.
have an
I
issue.
would. That's the thing. After all the quarantine stuff is over, I'd be interested to see your world for a day. Just, I love to go to the places and see like how people treat you because it's like that's not what I get. That's not what I get when I exist. Like I deal with white people a lot. like I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe it's my thing that maybe again it could be the like because your experiences has been it could be self-fulfilling prophecy that's like you expect them to be bad to you so they are bad to you. It could be they just again it's not on you. It could be yes 100% racially motivated and like not on you at all. Like I don't want to make you feel crazy because like absolutely racism is still a thing. I'm not one of those. That's
My
not one of my controversial views.
my frustration is that with how I'm treated is that we're so similar. I should be getting treated the way you're getting treated.
Right.
Like I
And I
was
don't
the
and I would love to understand what I'm doing or giving off that makes it not that or am I getting treated the same way and I just don't see it because I don't have the things that have happened to you. Maybe they are aggressive and mean towards me, but I just go because I haven't had that experience so much in my life. I'm like, I don't know the difference. They must have been having a bad day. like
I think that might be it because I we're so similar and I did the good black person thing my entire life. I was articulate, I dressed appropriately, I went to college, I didn't start issues, I got a regular job. I don't get me wrong, I bothered people, but not in any sort of aggressive way.
right.
Like I was a good black person and it didn't fucking matter to them. They don't give a shit. They just it's I'm
Yeah.
just gonna get myself frustrated, so I'll stop.
Yeah. I mean, again, I get it. I don't again I don't want to act like the way you describe the world. I like that's why I say like I wouldn't do anything different. Like I feel like if that's what I believed or if that's how the world was treating me, if everything you're saying is factual and that's how the world has treated you all your life, I too would be angry and frustrated and wouldn't like want to deal with anybody and I'd be exhausted because I'd be constantly trying to it's like a fight every day. It's like a fight with everybody and everything. And I'm like, that's yeah, I'd be tired too. But like
Yeah.
that wasn't my cards, and I do believe there's something here. There's something in the gray area because I'm not saying mine's is right either. Because again, it could be them placating me. I might just be the like right kind of black. It could be anything. So maybe there's a gray area in between us where it's like half what I'm projecting, half you like seeing the world for what it is. But somewhere in there, there's this beautiful thing. And that's what this podcast is all about, baby. Finding the gray area between hyper extreme good to the point of unrealistic and hyper extreme bad to the point of pessimism. Why are we here? What's the point? But, that's again us. I think that wraps up today's episode, you guys. Couldn't think of the words I wanted to say. My name is Zero Rimson. You can find me at @0_KR anime on Instagram. And you can find this man, Aaron Chase, at Aaron Chase 91 on Instagram. And also you can check out more of this podcast on the Buddy System YouTube page. Search Buddy System Comedy because there are a lot of different buddy systems. And you can find the first, I think 4 episodes are up right now. And they're all, yeah, we record this. Like, this is a recording. It's going to get saved, and then I I edit the episodes, and they go up on the Buddy System page. So if you want to watch our episodes that we discussed previously, we've gone into other topics that are very interesting to some people. You should go check that out. In the meantime, Green Time, later. Thanks for hanging with us.
Bye.